Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard from your teachers and from online YouTube videos that listening to podcasts will help improve your OET listening. And it's very, very true. But one of the questions that I get asked, and in fact, one of my YouTube students asked me was, well, what podcast should I listen to in order to help me? Because let's face it, there are a lot out there. Yes, it's a great way to enhance your listening skills generally and to get that practice in ahead of the OET exam. But as there are so many out there, where should you begin? So, in this video, I'm going to take you through 5 podcasts. I'm going to tell you why I think they're good, why they're going to be useful for you, and also talk to you a little bit about how should you listen to them. What should you be doing while you're listening? Because it's all very well saying, okay, I'm going to listen to a podcast, but how is that actually going to help improve your OET score? How is it going to train you? And I'm going to give you some tips and ideas on what you should be doing as you're listening as well. My name's Sona, I'm your online OET tutor with Bose Learning, and I'm a premium preparation provider of the OET. Thanks for joining today. Okay, let's get started pretty much straight away because I know you guys don't have much time. And I'm going to start with the ABC Health Report. Now, the other thing I want you to kind of pay attention to is the different accents that you could encounter in the OET. It could be Australian, it could be British, it could be Canadian, American. Now, if you are learning English, not in the UK and not in Australia, it might be that you're really exposed to American English all the time because you watch American movies, you watch American TV series, and maybe your books that you learnt from were all American. And the thing is, the OET exam doesn't have too many American accents in it. It does, it can come up, but they tend to be more British and more Australian. So I want you to please focus your listening energy on on Australian and British. So I've put together some podcasts which centre around British and Australian accents, although of course you can get accents from anywhere around the world. So as I say, the first one is the ABC Health Report. It's great because it's Australian, so you get that accent training in. And it covers a broad range of health topics as well. So anything that could typically come up with the OET. So it's excellent for your CPD and it's excellent for familiarising yourself with medical terminology, medical trends, health issues, and also patient care and discussions, talking about patient care, discussing treatment options, public health issues as well, that kind of thing. Okay, so this one, for example, is about childhood inflammation. Read the title as you would at any point. Why not read the background information? Because it's kind of similar to what they would give you at the OET. It's a bit longer, of course, but it's a nice kind of summary. You can go away and read some more things as well. What I really like about this is that it's got the transcript. So, something that you could do if you're struggling with accents is to actually listen and read the transcript at the same time. And the reason I say to do this is because you want your brain to match the sounds that you're hearing with the words that you're reading. Because you might pronounce story in one particular way, but an Australian might pronounce it in a different way, and you need to know how they pronounce it. So you need to be matching those sounds with the actual words. So a great thing to do is to, read along as you're listening. So that's kind of step one, really. If you're quite familiar and you're quite happy with the accent, then why not use it as a way to kind of make sure you've understood correctly? So as you're listening, make notes and then check. have you got this correctly? Now, the other good thing about this is you'll see there are two people talking. One, of course, is the presenter, Dr. Norman, and then you've got the guest, in this case, Edward Palmer. And this mimics OET Part C, where you have the interview with one person leading the questions and then the other person answering them. So that, again, is a really nice way of practicing for your OET. So that's the first one for you. Let's move on to the next one then. And this time we're going to Britain and the BMJ, so it's the British Medical Journal podcast. Again, this is quite medicine centered, but what I like about this is that they have various different podcasts that you can listen to. Really interesting ones as well, from evidence-based medicine, general practitioners podcast focus, things that junior doctors and students might want to know, even planet-centered healthcare, so going green. So there's so many interesting things that I think you'll actually really enjoy listening to as well. So if we just go to this one, for example, which you'll be able to find on YouTube. This is slightly longer, it's about 25 minutes. Some of them are much, much longer as well. If you click on them here, you'll see again the summary. So read that before you actually go away and listen. And the transcript is here. This time it's a transcript because it's YouTube. You can actually click on it and it will take you to that particular point, and then you just press play. So maybe you're not sure what that is.
Fans, pragmatic clinical trials.
Okay, pragmatic, that's how you pronounce it, pragmatic. So you can check. The transcripts might not be 100% accurate, but you give it a go, see what they're like. So great for understanding British accents. It enhances your understanding of complex medical topics. And as I say, look at the other ones as well. Next on my list is another Australian one called GP Skeptics. Again, medicine centered, focusing on GPs. And this time it discusses a lot of evidence-based medicine and healthcare policy. Then we've got the Nursing Standard podcast, so we're back to Britain again, and it features various discussions on lots of different issues going on in the UK at the moment, and it helps you not only understand the British accent, but the British healthcare system as well. So if you're planning on heading over here, it's quite useful for that, and medical terminology as well. So here you've got various things, for example, sepsis, how to spot atypical symptoms. So some of them are free, some you actually have to register or pay for. Don't worry about that. I know most of you are poor students. I'm not expecting you to pay for any of these. But have a look at something like this. It's really interesting. Quite personal stories. A nurse whose son was hospitalised with sepsis. And again, in the OET Part C, quite often you hear these personal stories of people who talk about various conditions, etc. And you can listen along. There's some really interesting follow-up things. For example, a guidance update. So have a read of that. You can use that to practice your OET reading, of course. You can use all of this in various different ways. For example, you can go on to the Sepsis Trust and read a little bit more. Try and do some reading work as well while you're at it. Okay, and then the last one, I wanted to do something that wasn't medicine or nursing, because there are so many allied healthcare professionals out there as well. And of course, in the OET, you could hear from a physiotherapist, for example. This one is the Physio Edge. It's Australian. It goes through case studies, which again is really interesting. And it has, again, lots of lovely downloadable resources. For example, rotary cuffed rotary cuff tear injuries, rotator cuff injuries even. So you can find out all these different things. They give you questions. So why not listen to it and answer these questions? So that you are kind of doing some OET work without getting the options, without getting the multiple choice. You're doing it a bit harder actually. They have various infographics as well that you can go to. So if we go to the episode webpage, actually, it's slightly better to get the, oops, it's a bit big. So you can get various assessments as well. So again, I'm not sure why, but it's not fitting onto my screen at the moment. But here we go, podcast handout. So, download that. Yes, you have to sign up, but I think it's quite a useful thing to do. Okay, so how do you listen then? So those are some ideas of what you should listen to. There are more, of course. You can always run them past me if you want to. Just drop me a comment and say, hey, Sona, what do you think of this one? I might not know all of them, but I'm happy to take a listen and check. But how should you listen? What should you be doing? One thing you can do is just listen passively on your commute. So you're on the train, you're in the car, walking, whatever you're doing, just listen. Let the sounds of English wash over you, let them get into your ears, listen to that rhythm and just kind of let it be there. So that's one perfectly legitimate way to do it. Listen with a transcript, as I say, that's a bit more active. So you are matching those sounds to the words. And something else you can do, which I think is really, really useful, is listen actively. Make notes as you're listening. That way, you're doing two things. You're getting your brain to listen and your brain to write. And of course, in the exam, that's what you have to do. And sometimes students say, well, it's really hard to listen and read the question and write at the same time. But yeah, that's what you have to train your brain to do if you're not really familiar with that already. So do that as well. That's some really good tips, I think, for you to help you with your OET journey. The other thing I could recommend is that you listen with a teacher who can ask you the questions, or listen with a partner. Get someone who's studying for the OET and ask each other questions. Set them homework. Get them to listen to one of the 10-minute podcasts. Write them questions, and they can do the same for you. Or discuss it with them afterwards. Well, I hope that helped and gave you some ideas. I'd be so happy if you can help me grow my channel. So please do send this to other people that you think might enjoy it. Give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to me so you can get a notification of when I publish a new video. I've got over 250 already, so do check them out. They are playlists, so you can pick which one you think will be most useful for you. If you need some writing feedback practice, then let me know, because I offer a writing feedback service. This is where I email you the case notes. You send me your letter and I'll provide you an assessment and feedback. For more information about prices, just follow the website link I'm going to give you below. And finally, why not take a look at my Udemy courses? Again, I'm going to put in a code for you at the bottom. So thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Take care until then. Bye.